Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be starting a new what if, mainly because one of my older ones, I don't know, it's kind of hard to do it because there's not much going for it anyway. I don't know. So it's still up there. I might continue it. I'm not for certain, but this is just for something else for me to record. So that way there'll be something else on my channel. Anyway, this would basically be what if Naruto had the God of Destruction key. And without further ado, let's just get right into the video. I've done this a while, not like recording, of course, but I mean trying to get this video specifically the way that I want it. And what I mean by that is that I've been explaining a lot in it and not really, it's weird, I've done it a while anyway. So what I'm going to say now is that Naruto, from mature up to a point, he's aware from the point of his birth that he has this type of power within him. But he knows that he can't control it, but he can turn it on and off. That's what I wanted to say. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. And we're gonna just jump forward a few years up until the point where they're fighting Zabuza. And Naruto at this point has had some decent control over it. But at the time, still no one knows that Naruto has this power because they can't sense God Ki. No one can. Only, like, I'm gonna say only like people that have like witnessed the I forgot what the fuck they were called. The Otsutsuki clan? Yeah, I think that's the name. Anyway, so yeah. We're going to start like right around when they leave the village. And Naruto, throughout the entire series, since he was aware of him having this power and he knows for a guaranteed fact that he can't spaz out on the off chance of him just trying to obliterate something. So he tries not to get angry. So the entire time Tazuna was insulting Naruto, because Naruto didn't say anything back to Tazuna, Sasuke messes with Naruto only because Naruto's silent, and Sasuke doesn't like to take up for Naruto because Naruto told him not to. So this entire time, Tazuna has been bashing Naruto, and instead of Kakashi warning them about the Demon Brothers, Kakashi, like, he just walks past, and Naruto, he notices them, and so does Sasuke. And Sakura at the time, she's somewhat better in this what if. So she senses them somewhat too. Like once they start trying to make their move, she can sense them. Like that's kind of strange. Anyway, so they get up and they start trying to make their move, and for an instant, like Tazuna got really quiet. And that's because Naruto had grabbed him and like dragged him into the forest. Naruto's abnormally strong. So when Naruto, like when he's in the forest with Tazuna, Sasuke and Sakura are actively taking care of the two Demon Brothers, Naruto tells Tazuna that he's telling him that he's far stronger than what you could ever imagine. And Naruto picks up a leaf and he activates the God of Destruction key, and it vanishes, like it turns into purple particles in his hand. And Naruto grabs a branch and it does the same. And Kakashi looks over and he sees Naruto doing this, and he's like, what is that? So, you know, he starts trying to make his way over there, and Naruto turns it off and he's like, you know, Tazuna, I can kill you at any given time. Watch your mouth. I'm not going to tell you again. And when the Demon Brothers are killed, Naruto's like, this is our little secret. And he lets Tazuna go. And Naruto like comes strolling back out, and Tazuna, like he comes bolting out the woods, and he's like, yo, Kakashi, yo. And Kakashi, like he's like, what's going on? And he's like, he has, you know, his hand turned purple somewhat, and he started, like, things just started disappearing, like turning into purple particles. So Kakashi in his head is like, I knew I wasn't like going crazy, but what type of jutsu is that? I didn't see him weave any signs. I didn't sense any chakra. But then again, Naruto has never been one to have chakra, besides the Nine Tails. So, Naruto tells him, like, I don't know what he's talking about. He seems pretty crazy to me. And Sasuke, you know, he kind of doubles down with Naruto. He's like, yeah, I've known Naruto majority of our life, like majority of his life. I have never seen Naruto destroy things with one touch or something like that. And Sakura starts laughing at him, and he's like, he's delusional, cause yeah. So, like, Kakashi shrugs off, and he's like, I guess, right? And Naruto in his head, he knows that Kakashi saw him, because Kakashi wouldn't have took that long to dismiss it if he didn't believe him. Right. So Naruto, the entire time they're walking, he's thinking like, what would be a good time to let Kakashi in on his secret? Because at this time, the only two people that know is him and the Hokage, and a few other high-ranking officials. So, I'm gonna say they end up setting up camp because it took them a bit longer to get to where Zabuza and what's-her-face was waiting. Zabuza and Haku were waiting because Tazuna kept spazzing because of, he still believed that Naruto, yeah. Anyway, so they set up camp, and like when Tazuna's asleep, far away from Naruto, Naruto gestures to Kakashi to come here, and he tells him, he's like, yo, I've known you for a while, and for a time you actually took care of me. Hell, you even trained me for a bit. So I figure, as one of my old masters, you should get let in on a secret. And Naruto puts his hand in front of him, and he tells Kakashi to look at his hand, and Kakashi starts looking at it, and his hand turns purple, and this little orb appears in his hand, and Kakashi's like, what is that? And Naruto's like, I don't know, but look what it can do. And he aims it at a tree, and he's like, wait, Naruto, what are you doing? And Naruto gently lets it go out of his hand, and it starts floating over there toward the tree. And Naruto, when it touches the tree, because the tree wasn't that far ahead of them, it was on like a few feet. When the ball touches the tree, instead of disintegrating the whole tree, it leaves like this massive crater inside the tree, leading to the other side. Like the tree has just like this hole in it. So Kakashi's like, Naruto, what is that? And Naruto looks at him, and he's like, I don't know, but I can only disintegrate things that are small. Probably, he points to like a thinner, smaller tree, and he powers up the exact same thing, and he fires it just a little bit faster, because it's a further distance away, and it hits the tree, and the whole tree disappears. And Kakashi was like, Naruto, when were you? And Naruto looks at him, and he's like, it's best if you just try not to think about it, because it takes a while for you to realize how long I've had this and for how help, And Kakashi sees, he's like, okay, who else knows about it? And Naruto tells him the Hokage, a few, I'm assuming a few other high-ranking people, maybe a few Anbu members, and for all I know now, and he starts darting his eyes around, and he's like, they probably went back to tell Hiruzen that I told you. And Kakashi was like, wait, you had you had Anbu members, them dudes that, And Naruto looks at him, he's like, yeah, anyway, we should probably start moving, the sun's gonna come up. And, because they've been doing this, all night, basically. So, yeah, they get up, they start moving again. They end up getting to the bridge and running into Zabuza. But when, instead of it turning out the way that it does, instead of, Sasuke getting hit with the needles, this time, Naruto got hit with him. And Naruto did it to make Sasuke, to see, just to see how far Sasuke would really go. And halfway through, they're Naruto, Haku and Sasuke's little bout. After Naruto saw that Sasuke really, I don't know what, at this point, I don't know what Tomoe he would have had, but I think he only had the one. So I'm gonna say he unlocked the 2 Tomoe in both, which gave him somewhat the upper hand in this aspect, but Haku is still a shinobi, an actual trained shinobi. So, yeah, their fight didn't last that long. Naruto did eventually have to turn on, and Kakashi got to saw Naruto's power in all of its might. Because after Naruto got up, Haku threw a few hundred senpai at him, and they all disappeared. The minute they came into contact with Naruto, they vanished. And Naruto looks at Haku through one of the mirrors, and he looks at him and he's like, did you think that was going to stop me? I allowed you to do that the last time. And Haku tries to jump through another mirror, and the mirror that he jumps to, Naruto's in front of it, and he grabs Haku clean out the mirror. And he's like, I won't let you do it again. And Sasuke is looking at Naruto, and he's in utter horror because they don't sense Nine-Tails energy. They just can feel the overwhelming pressure coming off of Naruto. And since Sasuke is right there, he can sense it. Like, he can somewhat get a better glimpse, better than what everybody else can. And he has eyes that can somewhat see power. So he's like, he's gone. He's in utter fear. So, like, Sakura from the distance, she also realizes, like, this is something that's not natural to anybody. Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell y'all, Shikamaru also knows Naruto's secret. Shikamaru was actually the first person to find out, which is how the Hokage ended up finding out, because, yeah, but that's going to come up in the later part. I just felt like y'all should know that now. That's why he's up here. Anyway, so, yeah, like, Zabuza goes and he tries to throw his sword at Naruto, but, like, Naruto turns and he grabs the executioner's blade out the air. And he's looking at it, and he's like, this is too good of a blade to just destroy. So he drops it, and Zabuza was like, what is this? Like, what do y'all do over there in the Leaf Village? And Kakashi, like, looks at him, and he's like, hey, man, I'm just as baffled as you are. I just found out, like, last night. And Tazuna's sitting there spazzing. He's like, I knew it. I freaking knew it, bro. Y'all are a bunch of freaks. And so Sakura finally gets some sense about herself, and she tells Naruto to just hurry up and, you know, do what you gotta do. And Naruto looks at Sakura and tells her, like, yo, don't tell me what to do no more. And he doesn't kill Haku. What he does is he has Haku by the throat. He aims his hands down at Haku's legs, and he just disintegrates them. Like, he shoots off at the kneecap. So his legs are gone, and Haku's just writhing in agony. And Naruto's like, it's better than death. And he drops him, and Naruto turned towards Zabuza, and Zabuza was like, you know what, bro? You can have it. And he tries to run, and Sasuke, he ends up, he gathers himself again, and he fires a fireball at Zabuza, like, preventing him from running off in the general area. So Naruto was able to catch up with him. But Naruto tells him, he's like, so who hired you? And Zabuza was like, what? And he's like, you sure you just don't want to get blood, you monster? And Naruto grabs him, and he's like, I'm no monster. I'm a god. Who hired you? And Zabuza was like, well, I don't think what you did over there, pointing toward Haku, was something that a god would do. And Naruto, he's seeing it, and he's like, you know what? For someone that's killed so many people, left so many families broken, so many families. And I don't hold a grudge to you. I can see it in you, though. You've done horrible things. So has he. You dragged him along through half of those, haven't you? And Zabuza was like, he's like, what does that matter to you? You know, you're just here for blood. And Naruto was like, he's grabbing him harder now. And Kakashi, at this point, he has gotten over there, and he's trying to tell Naruto, you know, like, he's remembering what happened to the Senbon too, so he's not trying to touch Naruto, because he's not sure if Naruto's just going to, like, make his hand disappear. So, at this point, Sakura has gotten over there to Haku to stop him from screaming. And that little, that army hasn't appeared yet due to Haku screaming. Like, they want to see if the fight will subside before they get over there. They don't want to intervene in a fight with Zabuza, because Zabuza is, right. So, like, Naruto's asking him, like, who hired you? And then you can just get the sweet release of death that you so much, like, that you crave so much. And Zabuza tells him, like, I'll never tell you. And Naruto was like, that's a pity. You know? And, like, Kashi tells Naruto, like, don't do that. You know, he could just go back to get tried at the Leaf Village. And Naruto turns and he looks, and he's like, what? For him to get life? For him to be stuck with a couple of seals on him in a cage of darkness? Why not just give him the sweet release that he craves so much? And like Kakashi was like, why do you want to kill him so bad? And Naruto, he looks at him and he's like, oh, you didn't know? When I destroy things, there's no coming back. There is no reanimation. There's none of that. They just die. You don't get to go over to the ninja afterlife. There's nothing. You're gone permanently. And Naruto turns and he looks at Zabuza and he's like, if you want that to be your fate, keep doing what you're doing. Because Naruto looks at him and he starts gripping his neck harder. And he's like, because I can do it. I'll find you and I'll end everything for you. And he drops him and he's like, no need for me to find out who hired you. They're just over there. And Naruto kind of turns his little mode off because he doesn't want anybody else to really see it. So they come over and Zabuza was like, so what is there for me to do now? And Naruto, he points toward the executioner's blade and he's like, you're gonna pick that up. You're gonna fight until you either die or until all of them are dead. And Zabuza, he's not one to be told what to do, but in the eyes of what he just witnessed and what he was just told, what can you do other than obey? Even if it is a child. So he grabs his executioner's blade, and with the emotions of Haku still kind of basically non-mobile, and so with those emotions all flowing through him, he basically kills everybody, and he does sustain injuries enough to make it to where he wouldn't survive. So he does die. Haku gets taken back to the Leaf Village. The Naruto Bridge is not named the Naruto's Bridge. It's just named the bridge because Tazuna wasn't trying to remember, and they're really, it's just the bridge and emphasis on the bridge. So they get back to the village. Haku doesn't get tried. Haku gets put inside of he just gets put underneath the Leaf Village because he knows Naruto's secret. And his legs are gone, due to Naruto. So no matter what they did, he said he was going to try to speak out on Naruto. So they just said, fuck it, threw him underneath the Leaf Village. So eventually Naruto's, due to Haku coming back and constantly speaking about during their whole okay, we could just put you in a hospital bed, you just don't have to say nothing. And Haku was like, nah, I'm just keep trying to speak out. And due to that, Danzo does end up becoming aware of Naruto's abilities. So once they got through all of that, and Naruto ended up getting his little talk, Kakashi ends up telling them that I forgot what the hell it was called. God damn it. Anyway, I literally forgot what that little tournament was called. I can't remember. But that tournament between all the schools is coming up. And Naruto, he kind of grins his teeth and he's like, yeah, maybe I could kind of reveal it there. And he's thinking about it in his head. And Kakashi's like, what are you thinking about, Naruto? And Sasuke was like, bro, we gotta go. You gotta come teach me. We only got 2-3 weeks before that tournament come up. Come on, we gotta go. You finna have to show me how to do that. And Naruto was like, I don't think that's how that works, but I guess we can go see. And Naruto and Sasuke they just end up dipping off. And Kakashi was like, fuck, bro, what was Naruto thinking about? And this is where I'm gonna end this part off. If y'all enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you enjoyed my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi. Peace.